Le numéro 20, Evgeny Beloshikin.
On defense, number 2 and the captain of the Soviet National All-Stars, Vyacheslav Fetisov.
Le numéro 4, le défenseur Igor Stelnov.
Wearing number 5, on defense, Vasily Pervukin.
Le numéro 6, le défenseur Mikhail Tatarinov.
On defense, wearing number 7, Alexei Kazatonov.
Le numéro 8, le défenseur Alexei Goussarov.
Wearing number 9, right winger Vladimir Krutov.
Le numéro 11, le centre Igor Larionov.
Wearing number 12, on defense, Sergei Starikov.
Le numéro 13, le centre Valéry Kamensky.
Wearing number 14, defenseman Zenatula Bilyaletdinov.
Le numéro 15, l'ailier gauche Andrei Homutov.
Wearing number 16, right winger Sergei Svetlov.
Le numéro 18, le centre Alexander Semak.
Wearing number 19, right winger Mikhail Varnakov.
Le numéro 22, l'ailier gauche Sergei Priakin.
Wearing number 24, left winger Sergei Makarov.
Le numéro 27, le centre Vyacheslav Bykov.
Wearing number 29, left winger Yuri Krylev.
Le numéro 30, le centre Anatoly Semeniov.
The coach and assistant coach of the Soviet national team, Viktor Tikhonov and Vladimir Yurzinov.
Et maintenant, les représentants de la Ligue nationale de hockey. Dans les buts, le numéro 30 des Nordiques de Québec, Clint Malarchuk.
Wearing number 31, from the Edmonton Oilers, Grant Fuhr.
Le numéro 3, des Sabres de Buffalo, le défenseur Mike Ramsey.
Wearing number 4, playing on defense from the Washington Capitals, Rod Langway.
Le numéro 5, des Canadiens de Montréal, le défenseur Rick Green.
Wearing number 6, from the Boston Bruins, defenseman Raymond Bourque.
Le numéro 8, des Whalers de Hartford, le défenseur Rolf Samuelsson.
Wearing number 9, center from the Edmonton Oilers, Glenn Anderson.
Le numéro 10, des Jets de Winnipeg, le centre Dale Hawerchuk.
Wearing number 11, from the Edmonton Oilers, center Mark Messier.
Le numéro 14, des Whalers de Hartford, l'ailier droit Kevin Deneen.
Wearing number 15, left winger from the Edmonton Oilers, Esa Tikkanen.
Le numéro 16, des Nordiques de Québec, Michel Goulet.
Wearing number 17, from the Edmonton Oilers, right winger Yari Curry.
Le numéro 19, des Devils de New Jersey, l'ailier gauche Kirk Muller.
From the Philadelphia Flyers, wearing number 20, center Dave Pullen.
Le numéro 24, des Blackhawks de Chicago, le défenseur Doug Wilson.
Wearing number 25, from the Montreal Canadiens, defenseman Chris Chelios.
Le numéro 28, des Rangers de New York, l'ailier droit Thomas Sandstrom.
Wearing number 32, right winger from the Montreal Canadiens, Claude Lemieux.
Le numéro 66, des Pingouins de Pittsburgh, le centre Mario Lemieux.
Wearing number 99, from the Edmonton Oilers, center Wayne Gretzky.
ne jouent pas ce soir.
From the Philadelphia Flyers, Tim Kerr and Ron Hextall. And from the Quebec Nordic, Normand Rochefort.
Et maintenant, les entraîneurs de l'équipe d'étoiles de la Ligue nationale de hockey.
The coaches of the National Hockey League All-Star Team, Michel Bergeron, Bob Johnson, and the head coach, Jean Perron.
Mesdames et messieurs, l'équipe d'étoiles de la Ligue nationale de hockey. Rendez-vous 87, comme on vient de le voir, lors de la présentation des joueurs, se veut le rassemblement des représentants de trois grandes nations, l'Union soviétique, les États-Unis et le Canada.
As we just noticed in the players' presentation, Randevou-87 is the gathering of players and artists representing three great nations, the Soviet Union, the United States, and Canada. To sing the national anthems of each country, we're honored by the participation of three great choruses. To sing the Soviet Union national anthem, the Boris Alexandrov Ensemble of the Soviet Army.
Pour l'interprétation de l'hymne soviétique, l'ensemble Boris Alexandrov de l'Armée rouge. Pour interpréter l'hymne des États-Unis, voici de Boston le Harvard Glee Club, dirigé par M. Jameson Marvin.
The Harvard Glee Club will now perform the national anthem of the United States of America, directed by Jameson Marvin.
Fast
the Canadian anthem, a chorus from Quebec City directed by Guy Bélanger.
Le chœur de Rendez-vous 87, dirigé par M. Guy Bélanger, interprétera maintenant le Haut-Canada.
For the official face-off of this one-time event, we ask you to welcome 3 of the greatest hockey players ever.
Pour faire la mise au jeu officielle de cette série tout à fait unique, nous invitons maintenant 3 des plus grands joueurs de l'histoire de notre sport national. Tous 3 ont marqué leur époque et écrit dans leurs pays respectifs les plus belles pages de l'histoire de notre sport national au Canada, aux États-Unis et en Union soviétique.
They are part of the hockey legend in the Soviet Union, the United States, and Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, let's greet Vladislav Tretiak, Gordie Howe, and Jean Béliveau.
Nous demandons maintenant aux capitaines des 2 équipes, Vyacheslav Fetisov et Wayne Gretzky, de s'approcher au centre de la patinoire pour la mise au jeu protocolaire.
As goes the tradition in international competition, the captains exchange their respective emblems.
Comme le veut la tradition, les capitaines des 2 équipes s'échangent maintenant les emblèmes officiels des 2 formations.
From an international site, the ceremonial face-off. We are just about ready for the face-off. Game 1 of Rendezvous 87. The NHL All-Stars against the Soviet Union. Coming up. This is the time when everyone, no matter from what country, attempts to get rid of the butterflies. I think they exist not only on the ice, in the stands. I know they exist in the booth. And Bill Clement, I imagine for this worldwide television audience, there's some butterflies in a lot of living rooms around the world.
I think there are, Ken. I have picked up the scent. I have started to taste, and I'm sure I'm very much like the players. I'm ready to eat now.
The main course is ready to unfold, first of two between the NHL All-Stars and the Soviet national team. There is the referee, tonight from the Soviet Union, Nikolai Morozov. And from the NHL, as will be the case again on Friday night, veteran NHL linesman John D'Amico and Ron Finn. By the way, on Friday night, we'll see a National Hockey League referee. In goal, the youngster, only 20 years of age, Yevgeny Beloshakin.
Beloshakin, Ken, is without a doubt their #1 man. He has patterned his style as the Soviets have asked him to do after the great Tretsiak, who was involved in our opening ceremony tonight. He has a tendency at times to be inconsistent. I think all of the people on our side are hoping that he picks one of these times to be inconsistent. At the other end, our coaching staff has elected to play Grant Fuhr of the Edmonton Oilers, who had a back injury until 3 games ago, came back, performed well. We saw him last Sunday night in Edmonton. He is very, very sharp. I think we both agree, Ken. Very nice selection for our goaltending. And there is Viktor Tikhonov, the head coach of the Soviet Union. 10 years he has coached in the Soviet Union. He played for the Dynamo team out of Moscow for 10 years as a defenseman. Amazing. Even over there, ex-defensemen become coaches, Ken.
And co-coach from the Montreal Canadiens, Jean Perron, working with Quebec coach Michel Bergeron on the bench. Bob Johnson, the other co-coach from the Calgary Flames, is upstairs tonight. He'll be behind the bench with Jean Perron for the final game here on Friday night.
That's a lot of head coaching. It's only proper that they put them in rotation. They're all being very cooperative. We've talked to them. They're not reluctant at all to get together in a group and discuss things with us, and we're thankful to their cooperation. Not only cooperating with one another, but they've been very helpful to us as well.
There are so many keys, as Bill Clement pointed out just at the beginning of our telecast. Keys for the NHL All-Stars to win. Keys in terms of the Soviet team in their effort to win. And I guess one of the keys you mentioned, the third item on our list on the Soviet side, officiating, could be a big swing, especially in Game 1.
Well, the last time Nikolai Morozov officiated a game against the National Hockey League team, there he is. It was in Minnesota. He called 28 minutes in penalties, Ken, 24 against the Minnesota North Stars. He also skates with the Soviet team, travels with them, and is buddies with most of the people. We hope in the early going, because we are going to try and clutch, grab, slow them down, and you know that there's a ton of adrenaline on our side. We're going to hope that it doesn't get one-sided early.
As far as the NHL All-Stars are concerned, they'll start Mario Lemieux between Michel Goulet and Claude Lemieux. For the Soviet team, it's that big veteran fivesome. Larionov at center, Krutov and Makarov on the wings, and Fedosov and Kasatonov are the defensemen. On defense for the NHL All-Stars, Langway with the puck, team with Samuelson. Here's Makarov against Goulet. Then Lemieux gets the puck and banks it down the ice. There'll be no icing as it went off the glove of Vyacheslav Fedosov. Now, the NHL All-Stars centering Claude Lemieux, and it's intercepted. Here comes Sergei Makarov, the 28-year-old Soviet winger, over the line with Larionov, and it's intercepted. A chance for the NHL to clear the zone, but quickly Krutov, and he whips the puck back in as Fuhr leaves it for Ulf Samuelsson, the Swede from Hartford. Claude Lemieux, the Montreal Canadiens second-year player, gets the puck up, and it's shot out by the Penguins' Mario Lemieux. This is Tataranov, number 6 for the Soviet Union, getting the puck to center ice. It's lost there, and it's Sergei Makarov again. He can score. He overskates. Dave Poulin of the Flyers clears the zone. Mikhail Tataranov, number 6. Now with the puck, it's Pervukin, number 5 for the Soviet Union, getting it in, and here's Poulin, one of the best defensive players in this game. Getting the puck to Howardchuk, and he deflects it to center ice. Barnikov for the Soviet Union. Off the boards to Semenov. He's the centerman. Now the right winger, Svetlov. Sergei Svetlov. He's number 16. He's yanked down, no call. Ramsey knocked off balance, then Howardchuk backhands the puck in as the NHL All-Stars change on the fly. A minute and a half gone in the first period, no score.
And we have to be careful of tempo. We talked about the Russians playing a very fast speed. We could use more whistles than they could.
Here's Ray Bork, and his shot goes wide. The centering effort, and trying to turn it in front was Glenn Anderson. Anderson behind the net, in front to Sandstrom, and the shot goes wide. And the Soviets clear the zone. Messier had a good chance in front with Sandstrom. Best opportunity to score for either side belongs to the NHL. 2:10 has gone by in the first period. Tomas Sandstrom playing with injured ribs. The New York Ranger not expected to go. Now Anderson trying to get the puck in, and the Soviets gain possession. Soviets have very long shifts compared to the NHL All-Stars. Valery Kaminsky shoots the puck wide. It's played away from Homatov. And Chris Chelios, one of the American-born NHL All-Stars, clears the zone. And back for the puck is Chris Chelios, who really calls San Diego, California home. Out on the wing it comes. An opportunity for Tikkanen. It's Tikkanen with Gretzky and Curry. This is the all-Edmonton Oilers line for the NHL All-Stars. Curry in front. He turns it wide. Gretzky a shot and a good save by Beloshakin. This is Rendezvous 87. Early in the first period, there's no score.
Boy, our Edmonton Oilers line of Wayne Gretzky with Tikkanen and Curry came so close here. Curry had the best chance before this, Ken. Gretzky tried a sharp angle shot. Beloshakin smartly covering up.
Now the face-off near the Soviet goal. The NHL All-Stars, Bill, to a man, feel the first 10 minutes are so essential, setting really the entire stage for this two-game series.
I think so, Ken. With the adrenaline that has been building, with the youth, we have a number of players that have never faced the Soviets. That combined with the potential scary statistics of the official makes the first 10 minutes very important to stabilize and become cohesive as a unit.
A so-called checking line on for the NHL All-Stars. Howard, Chuck, Poulin, and Deneen against the Big Five from the Red Army, the KLM line. Makarov getting the puck in front, the play broken up. Now trying to get it out, and doing it is Rick Green. Ahead to Poulin, and a good poke check to steer it away by Krutov of the Soviet Union. Some heavy activity deep in the Soviet zone, and here come the Soviets. Larionov feeds on the wing too far for Makarov. Here's Rod Langway. University of New Hampshire product, grew up in the Boston area. Out to Kirk Muller from the New Jersey Devils, and his pass is broken up at the defense by Kasatonov. Krutov, the 26-year-old winger, prolific scorer for the USSR. This is typical. They'll slow things down, wind it up, try to get the good chance. The Soviets really don't shoot the puck in or dump it in that often. It's the Soviet Union on the attack, and Svetlov knocked off the puck. Sandstrom can't clear it out. Now the NHL All-Stars get the puck to center ice. An opportunity for Glenn Anderson. On with Sandstrom. Bork shoots the puck in. A delayed offside. NHL All-Stars have not cleared the zone, but the puck does. It's the Soviet Union. Varnikov gets the puck off on the right side, and Semenov spun around by Doug Wilson of the Blackhawks. The NHL. Bork driving it in, and the save by Beloshakin. And the puck shot down the ice. There'll be no icing. Back to play. It is Buffalo's Mike Ramsey. Here's Mark Messier. He's stopped in the neutral zone by Tatarinov. And the NHL just clears the puck through center ice. Back to play it. Igor Stelnov, who celebrates his 24th birthday tomorrow. He clears the center ice. Samuelson to Gretzky. To Tikkanen. He spins away from a check. And Tikkanen behind the net battling for the puck, and the Soviet Union gains possession. Clearing the zone is Stelnov, and the pass goes too far for Kaminsky. Dior leaving it for Ramsey. Play relatively cautious at the 5:10 mark of the first period with no score here in Game 1 from Quebec City. Jari Kurri, one of the two Finns, steals the puck. Over to Tikkanen, the other Finn. The two Finns, Tikkanen and Kurri, playing with Gretzky in the middle, and Kurri shoots and scores! Jari Kurri, and it's 1-0 NHL All-Stars.
Ken, before the game, Bobby Clark, general manager of the Philadelphia Flyers, said it was a good idea for us to put lines out there to select guys that have played together before. Gretzky knows where Kurri is at all times. See him do his little stop? Jari Kurri's always in that spot, sifting through the slot. He caught it all. This is a reverse angle look at it. Gretzky will give it the big stop with number 27, Bykov, going to check him. Kurri just one-times it right between Beloshakin's leg. There's a screen off to his right, but I really don't think it was a factor. Kurri caught it all right between his legs.
1-0. The NHL All-Stars take the lead from the face-off. The Soviet Union shooting the puck in. Here's Langway. To Mario Lemieux. It is Lemieux with Claude Lemieux and Michel Goulet, the French-Canadian line. That play is broken up, and a chance now for the Soviet team as Semak shoots the puck in. Backboard is Rick Green, the defenseman from Montreal. He's teamed on defense with Langway. Green, the oldest NHL All-Star. 5:23, the time of the goal. Curry from Gretzky and Tikkanen. Here's Goulet after the puck. He's checked on the play. And the Soviets come to center ice with Kryakin. Getting the puck in the middle. Now over to Semak, and his shot deflects off Chelios into the crowd. We're at the Coliseum in Quebec, 1-0 NHL.
One thing Wayne Gretzky does better than anyone is change directions. He does this. Look at 3 Soviets in front. Nobody is high enough in that slot to take Jari Kurri. We talked about them breaking down, Ken. They can be had defensively if you maintain possession in their end long enough. That was an indication of it right there. 3 men were in a little deep. Curry coming into the deep slot, winding up and one-timing it.
And you go back to your 3 key points for the Soviets in order to defeat the NHL. Neutralize Gretzky and Mario Lemieux.
Well, he was in gear there, wasn't he?
Puck goes right on goal. Yevgeny Belosheikin, the 20-year-old netminder, making the save. Fedosov gets it up to Krutov. He's stopped, but the Soviet Union gets the puck back as Kasatonov feeds on the wing to Makarov. Back to Kasatonov. He's got Krutov in front, goes to the point. Here's Fedosov, and that shot's blocked, and the puck kangaroos into the crowd. And there, Bill Clement, you can start to see a little of that nifty passing from Makarov, Larionov, Krutov, Fedosov, and Kasatonov.
Now, there's no question they can dazzle, but number 14, Kevin Dineen of the Hartford Whalers, watch him get down on front of this shot. He had help from Dave Poulin. 2 gutsy, great two-way hockey players. As we look at it from our reverse angle, the Soviets for years did never try and blast from the point. They are shooting from the point a lot more, but our 2 blockers, Poulin, Kevin Dineen, that's one of the reasons they were selected, and they will play against some of the top offensive people on the Soviet team, and they are out there against their number 1 unit now.
Howard, Chuck, Poulin, and Dineen trying to stop Makarov, Larionov, and Krutov for the men in right. The men in red from the Soviet national team. It is already 1-0 NHL All-Stars on an early first period goal by the Edmonton Oilers, Jari Kurri. Alt Samuelson clears the zone with the puck. Kasatonov. He's a playmaker for the USSR. Now it's Anderson for the NHL as the NHL attempts to change lines. Larionov, the centerman on this big Red Army contingent. He gets the puck in, and back goes the NHL Messier to Anderson. They're on a line with Sandstrom of the Rangers, who goes for the puck and gets there first, thus no icing. Anderson in front, and Messier's pass fails to reach him. And Messier stops. An opportunity for Semenov. His pass broken up. Anderson on a feed from Messier over the line. Messier, a real battler, can't get the puck from Anderson, and it's cleared out. On a check there. Varnikov down in a heap as the NHL controls, and Messier's pass to an open wing. To Taranov, a 20-year-old on defense for the USSR, up the middle to Mikhail Varnikov. He drops the puck, and Sveklov's shot is right there, and Fuhrer has to be alert on that effort. This is the NHL All-Stars against the Soviet Union.
They're taking breakfast by the hand all over the land. It's a fresh new way to start your day. Get your boogie in along and on your way. Hey, McDonald's is taking to the highway, taking to the street with a sit-down breakfast when there's no time to eat.
Enjoy a fresh biscuit sandwich or hot egg or sausage McMuffin.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's, taking breakfast by the hand.
You know, our coaches, the NHL coaches, maintain that this game can be won or lost in the neutral zone. Here's Rod Langway leveling number 19 of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Varnikov. Then he moves over and takes Svetlov out of the play. That is the kind of determined play we need in the neutral zone. From the reverse angle, here's Grant Fuhrer's save on Svetlov's shot. End over ender. Boy, that came close, didn't it? The bouncing between his legs.
When you see that exclusive slow motion reverse angle shot, you realize what a tricky shot that actually was. NHL All-Stars clearing the puck from the face-off. Back for it, Sergei Starakov. He's on defense with Igor Stelnov for the USSR. On the wing, Bikov, he's number 27. Trying to get the puck to Kaminsky. He's turned around. The other wing is Homutov for the USSR. He has the puck. Homutov to Bykov. Bykov looking for Kamensky, and he drills the shot wide. Keeping it in is Stelnov. Kamensky checked behind the net. Doug Wilson gets the puck to Tikkanen. Back to Doug Wilson. He can't clear it out, but finally the puck to center ice, and Curry just out of the reach with a pass intended for Gretzky. Centering effort, and a Tikkanen shot goes high. Here's Mike Ramsey. Behind the net to Gretzky. He's got Curry in front. Samuelsson in the slot with a shot that's blocked. Oh, did Ulf Samuelsson let one go? Homutov gets the puck up the middle. A bruising check on Bykov. An opportunity here. Homutov, a shot blocked, and it's Esa Tikkanen, the Finn, playing with the Oilers. On a line now with Mario Lemieux as the NHLers are changing players. And a strong defensive play by Gusarov. NHL shoots the puck right back in. This is Alexei Gusarov, a 22-year-old defenseman. Prihakin, who's on with Semak and Hameloff. Semak, a shot, and Fjord just gets a little leather on that one as he had the far post picked out. Jari Kurri has a goal. The NHL All-Stars 1 and the Soviet Union nothing. Indoors at the Coliseum, part of Winter Carnival 87. It's Rendezvous 87. The Soviet Union trailing 1-0 with the puck. The NHL All-Stars, the best pro players from Canada, the U.S., Sweden, and Finland. Grant Fuhrer playing the puck to Claude Lemieux. Gusarov is all over him. Rick Green covers up. To Rod Langway. He's in trouble. Hameloff on him, and the Soviet Union doing some good forechecking. Prihakin loses the puck. It's played on the wing for Michel Goulet. He's trying to get around Belyetnikov and can't. At center ice, Chris Chelios. Here's Goulet, a drive right on, and the rebound effort. And unable to beat Beloshakin is Ray Bort. Back the other way. Prihakin, he's decked, and there'll be a penalty, the first penalty of the night, as the Soviet Sergei Prihakin was yanked down. We'll see the Soviet power play. They trail 1-0.
The Soviet goalie, Evgeny Beloshakin, can make the save. He recovers very, very quickly from the original. He was going down to make that save. As soon as he left the rebound, he was back up in position. That is one thing he does very, very well, especially for a 20-year-old. Here's our reverse angle look at it. Goulet winds up, takes the blast. He's going down to save it. Right back up on his feet, in position. Perfect position to face Ray Bork, who really had a sharp angle, Ken, from there.
And we hope you enjoy that slow motion look here on ESPN, that reverse angle. Hooking penalty, 2-minute minor at 10:30 of the first period. Claude Lemieux, the Montreal Canadiens, goes off. We'll see the Soviet Union power play. Messier killing the penalty. Going one-on-one with Kasatonov, gets a shot, and Beloshakin makes the save. Here's Vyacheslav Fetisov. He's number 2 to Vladimir Krukov. And a shot goes wide by Kasatonov. Here's Makarov for the USSR. They have the man advantage. Larionov, Makarov, Krutov is out in the slot. It's 1-0 NHL. And Fetisov can't accept the pass. As the action continues and Poulin is stopped, Budweiser keeps the action going here in game 87. Enjoy the game and enjoy a cold Bud. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Ken, there are a number of captains representing their teams. Dave Poulin is one. Was I happy when he was selected? You know, we sat back like everyone else and examined the selections and said, well, who do we like? Who do we not like? I was as happy with this team as any team I've ever seen selected. And Dave Poulin, with his work ethic, his speed, and his defensive ability, say nothing of his leadership qualities, really a nice addition to this team.
Wayne Gretzky killing the penalty. Jari Kurri up front. The Edmonton Oilers in the regular season lead the NHL in shorthanded goals, much in thanks to the work of Gretzky and Kurri. On defense, Samuelsson anchoring the right side, and Mike Ramsey on the left side. He looks up and sees Vladimir Krutov. Krutov turns in the corner, plays the puck around the boards to Makarov. Power play, Soviet Union. NHL leads 1-0 first period. Fetisov over to Makarov. The puck deflected high. Samuelson unable to steer it away. Kasatonov, a pass in front. Makarov to Fetisov. Fetisov looking. Look how the Soviets passed that puck. Makarov. Larionov in front to Makarov, and he's tied up. Now Krutov handling it. And Kasatonov watches Curry clear the zone, and it's Gretzky with Fetisov back. Two of the all-time greats, and Vyacheslav Fetisov is able to block that shot by Gretzky.
And the only time that Gretzky and Curry are going to get in trouble killing penalties is in our own zone. They play very well offensively. They can score a lot of shorthanded goals, but I'll tell you, that KLM line, the green unit of the Soviets, can turn even the best defensive players inside out, and they are not known for their defensive work, so they have to stay out of our own end.
Puck at the side of the net. Pure pokes it away, and Rick Green is after it. He's the oldest NHL player as he goes down. And the puck covered. We have a stoppage in play with 7:29 to go in the first period. And Claude Lemieux, the penalized player, is back on. And the NHL, certainly Bill Clement, saw some fancy Soviet passing on that power play.
Their skills are wonderful, Ken, and there's a very good reason for it. They have excellent coaching from a very young age. They come up through a hockey system. We'll take a look at it here. Look at Makarov dipsy-doodling through. He was dragged down on the way by when he went by. Then he even passed it over when he was lying down. But their manual skills combined with their skating are really, really excellent. Here's a look at our reverse angle. Wayne Gretzky coming down, electing to shoot. Fetisov is perfect timing. You notice how he didn't go and charge Wayne Gretzky. He stayed back. He let his stick make the deflection. If Wayne stopped and tried to come back, he had him. They are aware that Wayne Gretzky loves that stop move, cutback move.
Jari Kurri has the only goal of this first period as the NHL All-Stars are called for icing. Kurri from Gretzky and Tikkanen at 5:23 here in the first period. There is Kirk Muller, one of the youngest players. He's only 21 years of age.
Boy, was he happy to be here. He was so excited, and he said yesterday, I don't know if I'm more nervous about playing against the Soviet Union or playing with the guys on this team. When I look around the room and see Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux, it's unnerving at times, but they got a couple of practices under their belts, and he looks rather comfortable out there. He is a nice addition as well, Ken. Excellent skater, great skills, and a very, very durable, rough hockey player when he wants to.
Both teams are at full strength. NHL All-Stars leading 1-0. Bork to Chelios. Up the middle. And on the middle play, the puck is Howard-Chuck, centering Dineen and Poulin. Bill Clement saying that the NHL had to neutralize the Soviet speed, forecheck well, and eliminate quality shots. He'll be talking about their success or lack of it during the first intermission with Tom Mees. In front, Dineen goes barreling into the crossbar as he's checked by Pervukin. That stops play, and surviving the collision is the young Soviet goaltender, Evgeny Beloshakin.
Well, I'm really not surprised to see this kind of determination from Kevin Dineen. He basically takes everyone out. He knew at that stage that he would never get a stick on the puck. What do? Make up your mind to clear the whole area, takes the defenseman into the net. Reverse angle, we'll see him coming from the top right of our screen. Chuck basically just lays it into it. Dineen just here takes everybody in.
Well, Bill, you had three in order for them to be Yevgeny Beloshakin. He had to have a good game. Watch the Soviets, see if they could do Mario Lemieux. And the other question, they certainly haven't had any problem, especially early in the game, with official who is the referee tonight.
As usual, taking the physical called one penalty. Thus far on partial period.
Again, the highlights will be Bill going over the checklist of NHL and the Soviet Union, which I believe you're entertaining. So, in the first period, All-Star. Coming to center ice. With a puck, forced by Claude Lemieux. Vinsky. The 20 or 13 over the line is Rishon. Bekoff with a puck. Omutov. Vinsky in front. Oh, the save on Andre, the 25-year-old.
He had all kind of net cleared out to the wrong. Came out and follows him so well on him. Omutov is out. Notice how few he had room to grant for his right shoulder. We'll see really show us how much room he has. The angle of the stick. That room over his right shoulder. Nor reads the shooter. And I think Beloshakin reads them today. He can tell the difference, and he can read where the shot's
doing a good job. Rapp really was bottled up by them. So this line of Omutov off for the Soviet Union. Grant Pure is the side this game. It is 1-0. Rick Green really blossomed a little late.
He's actually in. And that was the key going the other way into Montreal, Rod Langway. As a matter of fact, right now on the ice.
As Bill Menway. He's on now as the puck. So Messier, the wing on this line for Messier, and it is Starikov. The NHL, Gretzky pass intercepted. Nice. The Soviet Union. Doug Wilski, he avoids the open and he shoots wide just a bit. It's remaining in the first. Anders Semak not taken out, and it's Ray Bull. Bad groin and to go. He's here. Muller. It's Fedosov for the Soviet Union. Looks at the New York Islanders as he for to Vladimir Krutov. Shot and that great goes in the corner. Off ball over him. Down by Makarov. There'll be a penalty. Hooks down Makarov. The NHL will play 6 to go in the first period.
Get a look at one of Wayne Gretzky's vision. He was coming over Satikin and Ken from here back to Yari Curry. Needle right onto Curry's tape.
From the face-off, the NH clearing the puck away. 34, 2 minutes for a hooking board. Trailed by Vlang. At the left takes the puck. Krutov's in front. Pure gets a piece of that out. Sergei Makarov just unable to get behind the slaughter defenseman.
And they put two guys right in the slots together and then run fed buddy.
Still over a minute to 3.5 minutes. Shell All-Stars leading the something. Keeps the puck in. Loses it to Samuelson, who plays with the Hartford Whalers. Fedosov. By Gretzky. On defense with Ramsey. Gretz penalty. Add to the ice. Bellows shaken. NHL change on the penalty killing unit. Number 30. And a pass. He can play tremendous. Verbuchen. Curry. Verbuchen on the points for the power play up front. And Svetlov go in the NHL against the puck. To first period. The NHL Curry goal. Back on the NHL Verbuchen for the Soviet Union. And here's Mike Ramsey back. That Bullen carries on. And Homeu Sandstrom. They wrestle each other. Kaminsky can't get the puck out. It's Anderson with Poulin and the puck away. Sergei Starikov by Samuelson. Davis to Mark Messier of Edmonton. And the NHL change. That's something you don't see much. Union. There's period. Stelnov can't. Now Anderson after it. And the puck to center. Kaminsky, the youngest Soviet. Gusarov. Get it. And Bikov loses on the brakes. Chelios goes to, and Homutov headed into the slot. Chelios on with Goulet. Bellows shaken, smothers it as big all youngster.
To do that in front of Claude Lemieux with that left leg cannon based at the side of Beloshakin's arm, and he is 6th in that range, 200 and listed at. And when he runs, he decides he's going to take gloves, stick shaken with him.
Minute to go, first period lead. Things to talk about. One of the coming into the two-game series possession time, so to speak. Oh, and this Goulet can't get the rebound.
Break down defensively when you're zone. That is the key to them in their end.
And with it would appear that players have done a pretty good job. Certainly the Soviets period. Both for the USSR. Lemieux gets it. Mario Lemieux. Green clears to center. He is on with Henpryakin for the U.S. In the puck down. Play it. Fool it. And he just backhands it. Soviet net into the. Down to 4 seconds to go. Runs out on a very period here at the Quebec City. Game 1, 87. And a reminder, Yevgeny of the USSR. 5:23. Yellers from Wayne Gretzky. His 2. A lot of action to go. We're glad after a period, 1 All-Stars.
And good evening, and from the cold, I'm Tom Mead. We have thawed out and be discussing the hockey, but you've been the lucky man. You've been morning, and you've been sampling some kids and some of the all around this rendezvous.
You know, this is my native home up in Montreal. It is a tremendous years ago here, centuries ago, of the British fought generally reclaimed this land, Canada. However, it is Canada. It is a tremendous sample. Some of the sites around this beautiful city.
Back to our Rendezvous 87. Climb down from the top of the period. Come down here.
Thank you. Much easier for you.
You will find that out in about first period of hockey. I think the NHL. Yari Curry scored the goal. Some keys before the game. Things the NHL had to do. One for the Soviets.
They up there watching the entire period, them having one great quality for a couple, Tom. But Samuelson, Dave pulled off Samuelson's block. Just on the outside edge of the... Oh, I'm sorry, that is the Doolan. Right. Later, old Samuel. Those are the only two that quality shot try job. They're very dangerous from in there.
Is that the young goaltender see to be up and down? Michel's down point, he would be down. I don't think that was his fault, but he did Michel Goulet later in the period.
Very steady. I mentioned him inconsistent. Well, when the games that he was going to play a heck, no matter who they are, have difficulty. 5-hole. This one has a chance. But he recovers for the second for the net. And going back, it was for the 5-hole. It really in the world can protect from that.
Anyway, one of the veteran defensemen of our team. And another point you made is that the NHL had to gathering that momentum to the passing game into effect.
Exactly. Zone. That's where they gather. There's across center heading towards our Langway stands up there with the bell, one of the Soviets. He ended up taking, we're going to take a look at it here. Varnikov, first of all, kind of like a lineman in football, on him. And actually down, then took a second man of a first period.
I would say so. Players and coaches have to be happy. In the second period, live from our score after one, the NHL Soviets, nothing. After one period of Rendezvous game series against the Soviets, NHL All-Stars, a 1-0 election in a moment. Our John streets of Quebec City look at sculptures and creation.
As the Soviet Union out to decide who's the best in ice can be seen this week. Certainly the thirsty at Rendezvous.
City today saw all those, and they are tremendous, and occasionally melting under the TV lights, it happened. It's that cold and out on the ice. We'll be back with more. Rendezvous 87, live after one period. It's the NHL Soviet Union, nothing from Moscow a few days. Victory for the was in Gretzky. We realized that well, so far, Gretzky goal of the first period is number 99 holding it. In the Soviets tend to be a little bit lax on one times it through the 5-hole. Taken the goaltender of the Soviets own scoring play of the period. Arms in triumph because and on the scoring summary, getting the goal at Wayne Gretzky and Asa Tiki. Edmonton Oilers lead the Soviets of 1-0. That's what it was. In the second period, stay with it. And welcome back to the Call of Duty. I'm Tom Mees. I'm already and Ken Wilson and gentlemen, let's go high atop.
We've had a lot of fun, and there are many things we're going to games here in Quebec City. We haven't touched on yet. Defensemen, All-Stars. Defensemen as they can. You want them to.
Absolutely. That's why the play important. The Soviet players, their skaters, can wheel and deal. We have Bob Johnson and Jean Perron, the U.S., that blue line is going to be a very, very maintain against the Soviets.
The Soviet defensemen are very good. The offensive blue line, they want to keep the defensemen close.
Exactly. When the Russians are spread us out, they're important for us to stick together going offensively. Or defense.
There is a look at the Soviets trailing in this score of 1-0. The goal early in the first keys with the way things in HL All-Stars. The key seemed to be the firstly Jean Perron, the coach. If we can get out of the field, be on the right track. Talked about it, some statistics.
Even shoot-ins, we mean get in and then chasing it. It's 5 shoot-ins, as did lopsided. We do that with water far more often than 8. 24 by the Soviets were forced turnovers. Soviet Union had 4. They were outside edge. We had to tell early that Yevgeny Bakhter holding in the Soviet.
Second period is underway. Green unable to shoot the puck, and he's on defense with Langway. Bounds right to Bello. Can't score. Viatchis getting it ahead to Kruton with Larionov and Mucker. Number 24 trying to slow too. This is Kevin Denis. Whalers on with shooting it in. Here's Dave Player. Kasatonov. Larionov doesn't see Howardchuk. Now strong veteran Soviet defenseman Fedosov wobbling. A bouncing puck by Alexei Kasatov, defenseman.
That's the kind. Poulin just about ran over. He's a big man. 205. Poulin buried him behind the net.
A minute gone in the second. Kruton get around Samuelson. And big Samuelson to Ramsey at center ice. Can't make a play and wheels the puck around the board. On with Semenov. Intercepts to Anderson. He's puck in. Look out here. Swetlov one-on-one with stopped by Pure. Had a good chance to Taranov at center ice with a puck over the line. It goes off the goal post. That's a piece of it. in Vervuken for the Soviet. Curry deflects wide. He's bottled up along, puck held for a few seconds into the second. 1-0.
Boy, Kenneth switches on the attack mode. Perhaps should have elected to feed Anderson. Anders play at the point, and then reverse angle super slow-mo. Beloshakin got a slight piece of. Meanwhile, we're following the shooter, so on Svetlov.
Puck deflects into the face-off outside blue line. That's the young period, 20-year-old Valor.
Ken, there were a lot of people but people that have seen him play and how they can keep him off the team. Tall player from stride. When he gets in tight into the top of net, top of the Soviet Union.
Getting the puck off, up front, coming off, and Homutov. Back for the puck. Star comes up on the wing and into the middle to the defense. Celebrates birthday 24 to center. Then the puck trickles. Stelnoff again. Homutov unable to get a good shot. Is beat 27. Wrestling out by Yari Curry. Trying to muscle Green. Whacks the puck behind the net. Union is dangerous. And big Wayne Gretzky with some Soviet-like move way out of his reach. Number 12 to number 4. Mate team. Homutov, Kamensky, and beat for the puck for the enemy. He's on defense. Being charged a bit by Gretzky. Rink Claude Lemieux. And tied up by Guskin. In the middle. Save carrying on and getting the button off. Opportunity. And secure. Pittsburgh. Mario Lemieux. The return pass for Mario. Mike Ramsey. Defense made, and it comes to Star. He shot the boards. And Taylor Letdinov, the veteran, the old number 14. NHL All-Stars. Making the stop right in front to Krutov. On Krutov, up by the veteran.
Boy, he scored there, Ken. He thought he'd slide across, but Furstad, he had nowhere to go. He would have scored.
His pass is off again. He's 31. Soviet. The puck back in. Getting it around by him. And here's Doug Wilson. Kurt Muller by Beloshakin. The former member of the 80 team, Kurt Muller. At Quebec 7, game 1, nothing.
Well, we back and sharp on top of his Ken in the first period. Here, it looked to me as if he got the puck around, took another lit second, let it go. Big names there.
Will Docker, great Pele on the right, with other sport hockey Hall of Fames.
Look at wing out. This is certainly something they've been doing it more this year with the Oilers. I'm a better defensive player. That's indeed helping out.
Shot period. The Soviets 3 NHL All-Stars in this contest. The Soviet, or I should say, outshot the NHLer to 8.
Team Mikhail Varnak, the Soviet national team that is located. He plays for Gorky, and I guess his line mate's so old. That's what we were told by this yesterday.
Nothing. Second period. Mess on with Sandstrom back, and Green, Sandstrom, and Messier up to defense for the NA. 5:30 full period. Beloshakin. Right there. There's a break in just a moment.
Here's a look at Beloshakin. He dotted here, Ken, and I noted her in the first period and wondered if one-time thing, but he really particular play.
His goal early in the first on with Gretzky and Teak. Starkov, blue, and he's poke checked by Stark for the USSR. Peacock and Homutov. Oh, and the shot. Having to the puck to Bork, but finally poked to center right. The Soviets to neutral zone. In front of the NHL All-Star. Chelios in turn. Blue 27. Looking Homutov right in front of this. Takes a swing and a moving in front. He's got a makes a save on it. Good forechecking here. Starkov and that ski. He allows Chris Chelios. NHL leading the Soviet. Tegan and he can't quite. Here's number 22 for the shot and pure. Bryakin lets one go. Clearing the puck the length of the ice. Gusarov touches it. The opening game of 7. The stick on the Gretzky. 7-time trophy, the MVP in the end. Number 99 worldwide.
I think these Soviets don't know all of you. They dream of the NHL as vividly, or as in many vivid, that they nevertheless play.
Soviets. Now it's Amalkin for the Soviet Union. Gusarov. Bryakin. He left for the NHL. Samuelson. The Swede, the other Swede on the NHL. Gus. Lanky. Flot. Letdinov. Back to leg. Claude Lemieux breaks. Tries to just deflect it. Beloshakin, and he's unable to. French Canadians. Claude Lemieux attempt to combine. Touches the puck. That's a rare Soviet national team. Rod Lang, the Americans playing in the 2-game affair. 3 born in Taiwan, but Boston area in Randall. U.S. players. Mike Ramsey also. Langway started his NHL, of course, the star with Washington.
Stand out, 6'3", 200. These Soviet players, big as we are, that big line of 160 pounds, Larionov, but they combine and power and it's along with balance in there when you meet them head-on on the ice.
Soviet coach Victor pointing out to one of his players, giving Soviets love to do that. One settle around, keep moving, and then or the NHL All-Star. Maybe the Edmonton Oilers do a Tikkanen and Curry do a little American pattern.
You have to have players to be able to do that, and 8 teams that can do it in the National Hockey.
Off, robbed by Grant from the defense. Fedosov, what a
save. Fedosov looked at Beck Colizet and just robbed right here. Look at the shoot at there, too. Fuhr had to look at it. Landing right on Fedosov, we the defenseman, as well as their leader and can do it all. Actually being up on the play. He was actually coming right through. Big strain on the forwards who watched the Soviet point.
And what a pass made by Sergei. He made a Gretzky line to Fedosov, and the Soviets their scoring chances of the game. Well, a pass for Pulenstop on the attack, led by Beck. Here's edge to the boards by Lang. Howard Chuck of the Winnipegs. The spunky Flyers. And a drive by Deneen by Bello Shaken.
Of a job on teeing that up. And when those passes, very, very difficult to get your attitude to get rid of it. Might see him showing up, pop it on Bello's shot, and the pass was coming out of him. Ken, that save earlier, it might miss Paul Coffey in a 2-game. Times have we seen Slav Fedosov did cut it up and actually scores, and Hal does it very well too. He's the 3rd best at it in the league.
And shot the length of the Aronoff. That's it. So Paul Coffey, Mark, all not here, out with bad missing tonight for the NHL. Quebec, 58 left, second period won. The Soviet national Coffey, Howe, Bossy, series. Tim Kerr pulled a day. And the big goal is not suited up tonight. But the Nordiques defenseman working out is not dressed. And the 3rd goalie, Ron Hextall, is Clint Quebec. There's a quick shot taken. Makes another in Union.
Tatarinov of the Soviet. Glenn Anderson took this kid as a bull. He's one of the new breed of he got up to his feet. Anderson had leveled him. Going down, he gets up. Look at his direct. Glenn Anderson. Reverse angle. Look at him. Muller just knocked. That was a shot out of Tatarinov was screening. Come in. I think that was that.
The border spot again from the face-off. There's a 2-minute penalty to Glenn Anderson.
Spots. Union hockey system. I meant in the Soviet Union. One of them is Wings, Moscow at least. The Wings, the team is sponsored by the Border Guard.
They have an interesting system, and we'll be telling you about National League, pro which all of these make up the Soviet national team. Tonight and again on Fuhr, a big save there. To Curry, 3 in the middle for Curry. Back to help out. Then Anderson or Curry, and Curry kick is Gretzky. Set up Beakoff. He spun around, taking possession and clear back to the Soviet line. 50 left. It is Bello shaken for a face-off door.
Now the Soviets can have it, can control that puck for long. Gretzky did it so well in Bello shaken comes in to throw a little. About puck control, Wayne Gwinnett. Nobody is 15 feet out in front of the fan on it or had it bounce over.
He's 29, 22 years of age and blood. Greenway who takes the pass. Up front, Marriott goes into the Alexei Gusarov. This is that coach John Perron. That's Mario Lemieux. Claude Lemieux at 21 with veteran, 4-time 50 goals.
I'm wondering how if he's injured a couple of months ago, came back doing well, but he re-injured it in a game last weekend. Again, I'm not sure that he is at full, so doesn't bother tonight, Friday night.
Mario Lemieux, some strong brace knee as he plays. Game 1 of Game Series between the NHL and the Soviet national team. NHL All-Stars remaining in the 2nd period. It's over. We're glad you're in. Part of the worldwide, this unique series. Trying Mario Lemieux ends up with Lemieux, no relation. He stopped the NHL on the attack. Claude Lemieux, and the will change players. Over the line was in the slot, but the puck goes. City of Wisconsin. Deneen and Goulet just back for it. They left it off. The 3rd out. It's Makarov. But Makarov occurs. Oh, nailed the penalty is Vladimir end over end. The play continues until touch the puck. Picking up a penalty. Play penalty coming against the Utah. His poke check. Larionov gets the puck. Feel that the NHL is finally referees off from the USA. The NHL, the 2nd period, they 1-0.
Them off. Grant Fuhr, goal for us. This is one of number 10 yanking down Krutov. Eddie not taking him down. Krutov has led their elite last 5 years. My reverse angle, Chris Chet, 29 of the Soviet Union.
Penalty to Howard, Chuck. Scoreless second period. Penalty, all three penalties called against the NHL all power play. Jari Kurri's early first period here in game one of NHL all front. Messier and Muller on the blue line. Langway and Kurt Muller. NHL. He's checked by the Soviet Union. Leaving it for Kasat. Here's Krutov moving around to Kasatonov, number 9. And certainly behooves a tremendous Kaminsky, the youngster. Or check it. Tonov, number 11, between Makarov, 24 up front. Tonov. That goes without a stick as his chance. Larry off to Makarov. Langway cut us off. In the penalty. A shot deflected wide and the puck the length of the ice. Just over 6 minutes left. It's 1-0. Kaminsky, the youngster, number 13. Fedosov to Kaminsky. Cutting right. Makes the save on the Soviet Union. Stopped cold in the sensational play. Makarov giving the puck off at the point for Larry. Gretzky. Short-handed, the NHL. And a return pass from Curry fails to reach Gretzky. 5.5 minutes to go in the middle period. Homutov with Kamensky. Kamensky ridden out of the play, and Homutov sends the puck behind the net. And Ramsey plays it there, but a penalty will be called, and I believe it'll be a penalty for too many men on the ice, called by...
Boy, this is playoff hockey in a certain sense, Ken, and we talk about how important goaltending is. Watch Grant Fuhrer, the National League team, on this save with young Valery Kamensky rolling in. Kamensky's a right-hand shot. It's really interesting to note that the Soviets only have 3 or 4 players that ever play on their national team that are right-hand shots. He gets in behind our defense. Grant Fuhrer standing his ground. He did pretty well picking up Ramsey coming in out of the corner of his eye, or he could have gone wide, but Ramsey was definitely there to cut him off at the pass.
Soviet Union finding themselves down 1-0. Too many men on the ice against the Soviet team. 14:37, the time of the penalty. It'll be served by Valery Kamensky.
Robert, après la période.
Kind of an uncharacteristic penalty, Ken, too, of a team that prides itself on its discipline, isn't it?
That's a very good point, Bill. You would not expect that from the Soviets. Bork getting the puck behind the net, gets it back. Doug Wilson is at the left point. Bork also supposed to be at a point. Bork in front. Oh, and somehow Howard-Chuck turns it just wide as Dale Howard-Chuck was set up by Ray Bork. Bork's at the right point, Doug Wilson at the left point, Gretzky, Messier, and Howard-Chuck up front. There's a lot of firepower on this NHL All-Star power play, the first of the night for them. Gretzky softly to Bork. Homutov blocks the shot. Homutov and Bitov are the forwards up front, killing the penalty as Beloshakin makes a good save. Messier to Gretzky in front for Howard-Chuck, and an alert move by the young goaltender Beloshakin.
2 consecutive excellent hockey plays, one by Ray Bork on a pass, the second Beloshakin helping himself right through the crease, Ken.
The NHL with a man advantage. They lead 1-0. Over 4 minutes remaining in the second period. Here in Game 1 at Quebec City as Gretzky moves into Curry in front for Anderson. Beloshakin makes the save, and the Soviets clear the puck the length of the ice.
Boy, Beloshakin knew the puck was coming out front. He never did give way that short side. He held that one left skate right against the post.
Half a minute left in the Soviet penalty for too many men on the ice. Puck cleared away by Pervukin. Pervukin in the corner for the Soviets, pinned to the boards by Curry, and the referee stops play with 3:46 to go in the second period, and we have seen some tremendously skilled and entertaining hockey here tonight in Game 1 of Rendezvous-87.
Can you imagine the luxury of having a Dale Howard-Chuck of the Winnipeg Jets and Wayne Gretzky? There they are sitting beside each other. Gretzky 99 on your left, out there on the same power play. Imagine if they threw Mario Lemieux out there as well. Here is Howard-Chuck in front. That pass jammed him a little bit. And by jamming, I mean it wasn't right on his forehand side. He had to actually move his stick in between his feet. Wasn't able to direct it at the net properly, or stop it for that matter, before he shot.
Soviets control and get the puck out. Less than 20 seconds left in the Soviet penalty. NHL All-Stars leading 1-0 after the puck, Mario Lemieux. He's on with Anderson and Curry up front. Bork and Wilson are on the points. Glenn Anderson back to Ray Bork, but he is really rushed on the play. After the puck for the Soviet Union is Semenov. USSR is back at full strength as Doug Wilson and Semenov tangle. Here's Jari Kurri. He's dead tired. On the attack, Kurri just shoots the puck in and heads for the bench. Glenn Anderson trying to bound away, and he does. Here's Anderson spinning in front. He scores! Glenn Anderson makes it 2-0 for the NHL All-Stars.
And it looked to me as if Beloshakin tried to help himself too much on this. He was trying to cut the pass with his stick. Look where his stick is. He knew that Glenn Anderson had somebody on this side of the net, and as soon as he put his stick out, we'll watch it. This is a great angle to watch it from. Watch Beloshakin try to cut the pass to Dineen with his stick a little bit. He actually left the hole between his legs. Mario Lemieux in on the play. You know that he's a part of every power play that he is on, a big part of it. Here is Beloshakin. Well, you know, from that angle, he didn't try and cut the pass that much, but his stick was out there trying to help himself. Perhaps the angle of his stick was a little flat, because Anderson was able to get the puck right over his stick, right between Beloshakin's legs.
Glenn Anderson, who played his college hockey briefly at the University of Denver, scores. At 17 minutes of the second period, Mario Lemieux gets the assist. It is 2-0 NHL. Goulet, a pass broken up by Bryakin. He gets the puck back from Hamelon. Bryakin trying to cut in, forced behind the net. Poulin feeds up on the wing nicely to Goulet. And it's Claude Lemieux after the puck with Goucheron. They battle for it. And the Soviet Union is in possession of the puck. Billy Letnikov getting the puck to Goucheron. Pass to Makarov, broken up. Goucheron to Krutov. Krutov loses the puck, and Langway clears it back to the Soviet blue line. Billy Letnikov clearing to center ice. Poulin intercepts. A delayed offside, but the NHL clears the zone. Krutov getting the puck to Makarov with Larionov over the line, and they're stopped. The centerman, Igor Larionov, with a puck for the Soviets. Now Fedosov circling in his own end. Intercepting, shooting, Muller. Oh, Kurt Muller as the Soviets get careless. Kasatonov around to Krutov. He can't get the puck out. Deneen in front, then Muller. Muller robbed by Beloshakin. And the NHL has had some tremendous chances here in the second period. Here's Larionov. He goes down. Krutov takes a hit from Ramsey. Makarov centering. Kasatonov can't get a shot. And they shoot and score. The Soviets. The defenseman, Alexei Kasatonov, moving into the slot. And the Soviets get their first goal as they finally beat Grant Fuhr.
Fuhr will not be happy with this one, Ken. He somehow misplays it with his glove, and fair is fair. We've had two between Beloshakin's legs. This one pops right between Grant Fuhr's legs. He tries to close his legs in desperation, realizing that he's missed it with his right hand, but to no avail. We'll take a look at it from this angle. Kasatonov moves in, looks like a routine shot.
Not much of a shot, really, by Alexei Kasatonov. He had trouble handling the puck, really.
Well, the pass was on his backhand, so he had to control it before he even teed it up. I'm not sure Grant wasn't caught in the middle a little bit. Shall I catch it? Should I take it with my stick? One way or the other. He was handcuffed, and it's 2-1.
NHL All-Stars lead. Bekoff shot knocked out. Poulin for the NHL. Broken up at center ice. 18:42, the time of the goal. The assist goes to Makarov. The goal to Kasatonov. There's Chris Chelios, born in Chicago, played hockey in the Evergreen Park area till he was 14, moved to San Diego, went to Mira Mesa High School, tried out for the U.S. International College team, and was cut. Went up to play hockey as an amateur in Canada, went to Wisconsin, and the rest is history.
Take a look at Doug Wilson getting in tight with Semenov. Wilson has a hold of his stick, and when you get in that tight with his strength, he switched from the stick to the sweater. He dragged him down.
There is less than a minute to go in the second period. And the NHL All-Stars, just quickly after the face-off are called, and the play will bring a face-off inside of the USSR blue line. The NHL now with Messier at center, Poulin and Anderson on the wing.
There's a look at Igor Stelnov. He's a hard-hitting defenseman, kind of a defensive-style defenseman. They always look to Fedosov and Kasatonov, that defensive pair on the first unit, to create a lot of the offense. He is capable of playing offense, but he plays pretty good defense out there, as they do. They have a nice mix. They're very similar to a lot of teams in the National Hockey League. They have players that are more offensive, players that are more defensive.
Bill, I think the thing I expected to see the most of, and I have not seen tonight, after watching the Soviets in practice and on tape, they seem to be such tremendous skaters. I'm feeling that they're not getting the opportunity to skate as much as they would like tonight here in Quebec City.
These players are well informed. We talked about it before the game. We have to neutralize the Soviet speed. Thus far, I'd say we've done a real commendable job. The breakdowns in our own end, Ken, I think, are a result of us not having played together. The National Hockey League team not having played together before tonight. You have to learn how to communicate. You actually have to learn how players move on the ice, what their instincts are. And the National Hockey League team has not had a chance to do that.
Now 25 seconds remaining in the second period. Both teams have scored once in this period. The NHL leads 2-1. Fedosov unable to make the final move. He can't get around Tikkanen. And play is stopped by the Soviet referee, Nikolai Morozov, with 14 seconds to go. One of the things we've talked about is goalies, Bill, and we have seen Grant Fuhr absolutely terrific, especially early in this period, then gives up maybe a soft goal. We've seen Belosheikin on the other end give up a goal. He did his best against Anderson, but it certainly wasn't a tremendously skilled goal that beat him.
It's definitely a key, Ken. It will continue to be a key, especially with the score this tight. We're getting into the third period, and number 9, Krutov, is going to be on Grant Fuhr's door before this game is over.
Jari Kurri scored the initial goal early in the first period, and it was a very pretty, pure play. Gretzky to Kurri out in front. Puck cleared out by Chelios. Here's Dineen dumping it in. 3 seconds remaining. Kasatonov sends the puck to center ice. That is the end of the second period here in Game 1 of Rendezvous 87 in Quebec City. So to recap the scoring for you in the second period, the NHL takes a 2-0 lead. Glenn Anderson from Mario Lemieux at 1700, and then Kasatonov from Makarov at 1842 for the Soviet Union. What reaction! A happy NHL All-Star, Glenn Anderson. The All-Stars lead the Soviets 2-1.
Finished 2 periods of Game 1 of our 2-game series of Rendezvous 87. The NHL All-Stars against the best from the Soviet Union. 2-1 after 2 periods. The NHL is on top, maintaining that 1-goal lead they had after 1 period. You know, Rendezvous 87 and the Quebec Winter Carnival has turned out this year to be, yes, a festival of hockey, as we're seeing right now, but also it's been a festival of different cultures. John Saunders has been sampling some of the cultural festivities around Quebec City, and he takes a look at the gastronomical delight and the festival of music.
A wise man once said, man cannot live on hockey alone, so it's appropriate with the best from the NHL and the Soviet Union here in Quebec that they take care of the appetite in an all-star sort of way as well. Some of the best chefs from the United States, Canada, and the Soviet Union have teamed up to serve up a 10-course gastronomic delight. The evening began with cocktails featuring a pageantry of international attire. Over 1,500 guests were invited to take part in the special 10-course gourmet menu prepared by culinary teams from all over the world. Musicians, entertainers, hosts, and honorary guests gave the spectacular evening all its splendor. Meanwhile, over at Le Colisée, audiences were entertained by Russian music sung by the famed Red Army Choir. The choral group, directed by Boris Alexander, performed repertoires of anthems and classics.
Yes, some beautiful pictures of very scenic Quebec City when the sun shines, even on a cold day. It's very, very beautiful. And we're seeing some beautiful hockey being played by the NHL All-Stars and the Soviet Union. I'm Tom Mees, in company again with Bill Clement. Bill, the goaltenders, of course, in any big game or big series, the goaltenders are going to come into play. Belashekin and Fuhrer both had their shining moments. We'll pick it up. First thing we're going to look at is a save by Belashekin in the second period.
Well, I mentioned it in the booth, Tom, that this is playoff hockey in a sense because there's so much pressure, and we're looking at such great, great hockey teams. We also mentioned before the show that Belashekin could be inconsistent. But tonight, thus far, I don't think he's been inconsistent at all, especially for a guy that's 20 years old. He has been very, very steady. He's come up with a number of excellent saves, and as far as I'm concerned, really has held the Soviet team in early.
There you see Glenn Anderson closing in on the doorstep, and Belashekin getting the left pad out there and the glove to cover up on any rebound.
One of the keys there is that he holds his posts very, very well. You notice that even when the play seems to be going from his left to his right, as he's moving across, he drags that leg back there to make sure that he cuts off the short side shot, and he's positionally an excellent, excellent goalie.
Now, Belashekin has played well for the most part. Grant Fuhrer has been nothing short of sensational, especially with that quick glove hand of his.
Yes, he had that one letdown that was on the goal, but besides that, he has been excellent. He is cat-like quick, recovers from the first save very well in order to position himself for the second save. We're going to take a look at the great glove save on Fetisov, who cuts in so well. And Paul Coffey came to mind immediately when I saw that, Tom. I wonder how much we're going to miss him before this is all over, along with Mark Howe. They move into that slot area and actually become attackers so well.
Now, the NHL forechecking has also been very, very good, especially at center ice. We've seen a lot of center ice play, and forechecking, if you are persistent at it, will eventually lead to a goal. It led to a goal for Glenn Anderson of the Edmonton Oilers and the NHL All-Star.
Well, the Soviets can be forechecked. There's no question about it. Their defensemen, in general, are very, very mobile. But Yari Curry dumps the puck deep into the Soviet zone, and the National Hockey League team is on the charge here. Anderson actually just swoops around, beats the Soviet player to the puck, and it's dumped back into the corner by Belashekin. Now Mario Lemieux has it for a split second, and that's long enough for him to do some magic with it. Anderson wheels around. Belashekin's stick is at a flat angle. Yep. Notice how it was. Originally, when I saw that, I thought that he was playing the pass. As it turned out, he was angry with himself, not for having played the pass and guessed wrong, but for having his stick so far advanced in front of him that Anderson was actually able to get it over the flat stick and between his legs. You can't stop between the legs once the shot's coming. One quick comment. If you're an NHL fan sitting at home tonight, do you have to be happy with a 2-1 lead after 2? I think so. The first half of the game for the National Hockey League team was going to be very, very important. With a 2-1 lead, at least they're sitting very, very pretty. All right, it should be a great third period of hockey. You, the hockey fans, are the winners tonight, no matter which team comes out on top. Rendezvous 87 continues from Quebec in a moment. Welcome back live to Le Colisée. I'm Tom Mees. We'll be going back live for the third period of what should be an exciting ending to what has been an exciting game tonight. Game 1 of our two-game series, Rendezvous 87. Only 2 goals in the period, but there were several highlights we want to show you. First of all, the NHL with a legitimate scoring chance on the stick of number 9, Glenn Anderson. Of course, he, the great player from the Edmonton Oilers, cutting in from the right face-off circle, snaps a drive, and look at this. He hits the post on the outside. He came that close to scoring. Glenn Anderson really was unfortunate there. He had beaten Belashekin. Now, on the other end, Grant Fuhrer has just been, as we said a few minutes ago, Bill Clement and I said, just been sensational in the pipes for the National Hockey League. Again, Fuhrer covering the angle and making sure that any rebound would come out to his defenseman and not give the Soviets another chance. But as great as Fuhrer was, he's probably talking to himself about the Soviet goal. Alexei Kasatonov in front, and Fuhrer appeared to have that one lined up in front of him, but it went under his glove and between his legs, and a big goal for the Soviets. That made it obviously from a 2-0 game to a 2-1 game. And you would be hard-pressed to find many people who would feel that the NHL could shut the Soviets out in the third period. We shall see what we shall see. Now, Glenn Anderson's goal, of course, gave the NHL All-Stars a 2-0 lead. Again, Mario Lemieux, the only assist on this goal at the 17-minute mark. And look at Anderson. I think he had Belashekin a little bit off balance there. The old wraparound, and Belashekin doesn't get his stick down in proper positioning through the legs. And that goal made it 2-0 after 2 periods. It is the NHL All-Stars 2, the Soviet Union All-Stars 1. We'll be back to Le Colisée in Quebec City in just a moment. Rendezvous 87 continues on ESPN all week, and we'll be back with you again live on Friday night for Game 2 of the two-game series between the NHL All-Stars and the Soviet All-Stars.
And our John Saunders will also be dropping by with between periods features on the big Gala Variety Show and fashion shows and all the other doings that are all a part of the Quebec Winter Carnival and all a part of Rendezvous 87 in Quebec City. But don't forget, hockey fans, Game 2 of our series, 7:30 Friday night, February 13th. Now let's go back upstairs to our broadcast location where Ken Wilson and Bill Clement are getting set for an exciting third period of play. Gentlemen?
Well, Tom Mees, you know, we knew that the Soviets were explosive offensively. We knew, and Bill mentioned it more than once, that the NHL had some real snipers. So we knew there'd be a lot of offense, or at least we thought there would be. But, Bill, it seems after 2 periods we have a tight-checking, low-scoring game.
And I think, Ken, that that's what the National Hockey League team wanted to do from the start. We talked about tempo. And if the Soviets are allowed to establish that very, very high tempo, their skills are able to be accentuated. When you look at the number of turnovers, the NHL team committed 47 turnovers, the Soviet team 54 turnovers. We're talking about 100 turnovers in a couple of periods of hockey. That means to me that it's a very, very tight, close checking first 2 periods, and that's what the doctor ordered for the National Hockey League team. The Soviets would like to open it up, there's no question.
2-1, the NHL leads the Soviets. It's been a tremendous week. Alan Thicke was great as a host last night at the Grand Theater. He's with John Saunders.
Bill, standing here with the star of ABC's Growing Pains, Alan Thicke, and I know you're a good friend of Wayne Gretzky's. So they can't seem to keep him down. Doesn't matter who he's playing against.
He's as good as there ever was, and he's playing very well tonight. He's got to be the MVP tonight. Our guys play with a little more emotion and go in spurts, so I hope they can spurt more than the other guys stream.
And hopefully we can do it for 2 games.
Yes, the other guys are pretty consistent.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go back to the booth and Ken and Bill.
Well, we're talking hockey, and that's what Bill and I are paid to do, and we enjoy it every minute. But it's been a tremendous week. Other things, culture and art also. So let's take a look right from culture and art to the scoring summary. Bill, you did a good job talking about that. There's the second period summary. Glenn Anderson gets the goal at 17 minutes, the assist to Mario Lemieux. Then the Soviet Union comes back with their only Kasatonov, the veteran playmaking defenseman, and the assist goes to Sergei Makarov. There are the shots on goal, the NHL with the margin there.
Ken, Kasatonov is a very, very good two-way defenseman, and he is kind of shadowed by number 2, Vyacheslav Fetisov, his partner. Interesting to note that when Fetisov is injured or for some reason is not in uniform and Kasatonov is not paired with him, he becomes a far greater offensive threat. He wheeled in that time and got a, how shall we say, a lucky one on Grant Fuhr, because Grant Fuhr is not really, tonight at least, he's been very, very steady. That indecision cost him, but Kasatonov in his own right, we talked about him at the top of the show as being one of the 2 top defensemen in the Soviet Union.
Well, I alluded to the fact, as Tom and John have, that there's been a lot of culture and art here. We alluded to the concert last night. Crystal Gale, Gordon Lightfoot, Paul Anka, Bolshoi Ballet Stars, the Red Army Choir, and I don't even think those were the headliners.
I was too busy climbing stairs. I think I'm still climbing stairs today.
It's been a lot of fun this week in Quebec, and we're thrilled to have you here with us for Rendezvous 87 on ESPN. Ken Wilson, Bill Clement, a cast of thousands. The Soviet national team. Larionov to Makarov. His shot, oh, and Fuhr makes the save with Krutov buzzing in on the right wing. Here comes the NHL back. Denin is stopped. Krutov turns the puck to the middle green. Ahead out of the reach of Poulin. Half a minute gone in the third period. NHL making a player change. They lead it 2-1. Now the Soviets take over Sergei Makarov. He plays on the big line with Larionov and Krutov. This is the defenseman Fetisov. Oh, is he upended by Ramsey? Larionov to Krutov off the back of his skate. And the NHL clears the puck to center ice. Be interesting to see how the Soviet goes. Here in the early going, the Soviet Union would like, I'm sure, to establish themselves here in the first 5 minutes of period 3, trailing by a goal. Soviets really closing up the middle on the NHL. Samuelson knocks down Svetlov, and the puck held for a face-off deep in the NHL All-Stars end.
Ken, we had talked earlier about us discussing the selections. As everybody plays armchair quarterback, I guess, they sit at home and they say, gee, how did this guy make the team? And perhaps we should have had this man on the team. I don't think anyone argued when number 9, Glenn Anderson of the Edmonton Oilers, was selected. He has played international play with the Canadian Olympic team before he turned pro. Watch Kevin Dineen swoop in here on Beloshakin. Cut the corner a little sharp on Yevgeny Beloshakin.
Puck comes to center ice. Sweeping through is Muller. He's got Messier, but he's having trouble getting around to Taranov. And Bork fans. He's tied up. Messier swooping in. He's got Muller behind the net. And a nice check by Taranov. Delio's tied up. Anderson keeps the puck in. Glenn Anderson breaks for the net. Muller a shot, and making the save and freezing it is Evgeny Beloshakin. This is Rendezvous 87 on ESPN.
The Soviet team certainly is capable of playing strong defense. Muller swoops to shoot. One red, number 30, riding out a National Hockey League player, and on the other side, the defenseman helping out. They kept the lane so clear in front of Beloshakin that it was actually an easy save. They can play some very, very solid defense.
Curry and Anderson of the Edmonton Oilers have scored for the NHL. Veteran defenseman Alexei Kasatonov on a weak shot from the slot that seemed to handcuff Grant Fuhr has scored for the Soviet national team. Face off deep in the Soviet zone. With the puck, Wayne Gretzky. Pre-planned play to Tikin, and he centers for Curry, and Yari Curry is too well covered. On the attack, the Soviet Union with the puck, trying to center it. Homyatov, and that play broken up. 2 minutes have gone by in the third period here in Quebec City. Bykov a drive, and he scores! The Soviet Union ties it. Vyacheslav Bykov beats Grant Fuhr low, and it is 2-2.
You can never have too many goals against the Soviet Union. They are so explosive, and we talked about protecting the blue line. The National Hockey League team did not protect the blue line on this one. Let Bykov come right over, swoop from his right to his left. He gets very, very good wood on it as well. From off one post into the net and out the other post. It went post, center of the net, and out. They gave away the blue line on that one.
It takes the Soviets only 2 minutes, 3 seconds to score in the third period. That would seemingly be a huge goal for the Soviet national team. And one of the points the NHL All-Stars are aware of, the Soviets quickly and frequently score goals in a row. One goal, then in 30 seconds another, and then quickly another goal. Curry upended. This crowd, partisan to the NHL, wanted a penalty. They don't get it. Semak for the Soviet Union. To Kryakin. Kryakin behind the net, taken out by Green. Here's Gretzky. The NHL in this period here trying to prevent a letdown, trying to stave off the Soviet Union. The Soviets to that one goal and nothing more. Krutov, one of the greats in Soviet hockey. Vladimir Krutov, number 9. Both teams are changing on the fly. It's 2-2. Sergei Markov. Makarov trying to get the puck in front, and he can't. He can't beat Mike Ramsey. To Claude Lemieux. Claude Lemieux clears the zone. Kasatonov gets the puck to Krutov for the Soviets. Back to Kasatonov. Makarov. He's on with Larionov and Krutov. Makarov losing the puck to Alf Samuelsson, the star defenseman out of Sweden and from the Hartford Whalers. A pass for Mario Lemieux from Goulet stop. Makarov. Krutov. He lets it go, and Fuhr closes the pads, and before Larionov can get the puck, the NHL clears to center ice. Krutov again. He's stopped. And it's Samuelsson. 2:03 the time of the Soviets' goal. Bykov from Starikov and Homyatov. It is 2-2. 4 minutes gone. Third period. Mario Lemieux stop. Nice poke check on the play, but it is offside. NHL. Great game. 2-2.
I believe they play a lot of hockey in Brazil, but Pele has still joined us here. Did you become a hockey fan when you were living in New York?
Oh, yes, no doubt. I think hockey is a very similar of soccer, the same pattern of the game, you know. You attack, defend, you have to be smart to dribbling. I love the game.
Okay, thank you very much. All the greatest are here from all the worlds of sports. Back to you, Ken and Bill.
Thank you, John Saunders. Of course, in the Soviet Union, Bill, the two most popular sports, ice hockey and soccer.
There is the Soviet captain. We got a glimpse of him. Vyacheslav Fetisov seems to have injured his left knee, perhaps getting ice on it. He would be a big loss for this Soviet team.
Now the NHL All-Stars, Muller to Messier, and the puck hops over his stick. Anderson digs after it. He's beaten to it. Larionov gets the puck out. Now it's Doug Wilson for the NHL. He's teamed with Ray Bourque. Bourque of Boston's Bruins, Wilson from the Chicago Blackhawks. Muller with Anderson and Messier dumping it in. Messier is beaten to it. Verbuchen playing the puck around the boards, and the Soviets move to center ice and quickly. A chance for Semenov getting the puck in front, and Varnikov unable to get a stick on it. Quick shot and a good save by Pure on Tatarinov. Messier for the NHL All-Stars, shooting the puck in. 2-2 the score. 5:10 gone in the third period. Green. His pass behind Gretzky. An icing coming up as Igor Stelnov touches the puck for the Soviet Union, and the faceoff will come back near Grant Fuhr.
There's the wife of the Canadian Prime Minister, Brian Mulroney, Mrs. Mulroney in attendance, and she hosted a very nice fashion show luncheon this morning that our wives attended. Just one of the many functions, and accompanied as usual by Brian Mulroney, the Prime Minister of Canada. He is describing now what happens on a face-off. He's setting up the face-off for her.
Well, you be careful, because if he comes up here to be the analyst, you'll be down there running the country.
I have enough to do right here, thank you.
NHL controls in their own end. Green, the Montreal Canadiens defenseman, gets it out, and quickly Bykov, the goal scorer, with a puck, and yanked down by Messier. Here's Langway. Green. Jari Kurri. On with Gretzky and Tikkanen. Tikkanen from Langway firing the puck in around the boards, and Beloshakin stops it as Gretzky was lurking. NHL begins to change players as Kamensky is stopped. Moving up on the play, Bykov. And his pass fails to reach Stelnov. This is Kurri, the Finn. Gretzky, the great one. Jari Kurri, another Finn. And Samuelson is poke check. 2-on-1 break. Kamensky, he shoots, and Pure gets a piece of that slap shot from Valery Kamensky. Wayne Gretzky for the NHL All-Stars. There's 13:42 to go in the third period. It's 2-2. These two teams playing tonight by NHL rules. Should it be tied after regulation play, there'll be a 5-minute overtime period. Pure leaving the puck for Samuelson. Kept in by Bellettinov. And then the NHL All-Stars led by Samuelson to Howard Chuck. Dineen breaks for the net. The pass to Dineen, and he gets the puck lost in his skates. And the save by Beloshakin. At the Coliseum in Quebec, it's 2-2.
Here's our reverse angle with Dale Howardchuk of the Winnipeg Jets doing his version of the reverse angle. He stops, throws the Soviets out of position, and Kevin Dineen is in a little too tight. That pass jams him, but Beloshakin's there to make the save anyway.
Back to live action. Howardchuk for the NHL. In front is Dineen. He shoots and scores. Set up by Poulin. Howardchuk and Poulin set up Dineen. The NHL leads it 3-2.
He was jammed on that first chance, Ken, a minute ago, but he wasn't jammed on that one. Dave Poulin passes this right onto Kevin Dineen's tape. Howardchuk along the boards, back into the corner to Poulin, and Dineen is jockeying for a position out front. He actually is loose. Larionov is a centerman, number 11. He is sagging back in. Watch him try and get to Dineen a second too late. He had to move back in because number 2, Fedosov, had actually pinched to the corner to try and get Poulin. You have to fill that zone area when it is vacated. Larionov didn't cover in time for Fedosov. Dineen was right there to jam that one home. He made no mistake about it.
7:03 of the third period, the time of the tie-breaking goal. Dineen from Howardchuk and Poulin, and the NHL All-Stars have the lead again. The NHL has never trailed tonight. It's 3-2. Here comes Poulin, his shot, and it's off the stick of Kasatonov and into the crowd. So Bykov scores for the USSR at 2:03 to tie it, and then the Dineen goal at 7:03 to give the NHL the lead again.
The two grinders for this NHL team, Kevin Dineen of the Hartford Whalers and Dave Poulin of the Philadelphia Flyers, figuring on that goal. Two excellent, excellent all-around hockey players. I don't think they were much of a surprise, Ken, either. Some people may have raised their eyebrows a little bit, but people that follow hockey, as we look at it again, boy, Dineen just jammed it right up past Beloshakin. People that follow hockey really know the merits of someone like Kevin Dineen, someone like Dave Poulin. Poulin especially, not very flashy player, just excellent both ways.
Here come the Soviets on the attack. Svetlov loses the puck. It's kept in by Pervukin. His shot blocked by Muller, but Pervukin ends up with the puck again. Leaves it for Varnikov, number 19. He loses it in turn to Bork. And it gets by to Taranov. Interestingly enough, 2 of the 3 NHL All-Stars goals have come directly from Soviet defensive zone turnovers. Moving right in and scoring is Semenov, Anatoly Semenov. Oh, you talk about explosive. The Soviets tie it at 3.
He may have paid the price, Ken. He is holding his midsection, and he may have actually speared himself or run into the tip of Grant Fuhr's stick, but what a move he made on Grant Fuhr, pulling it to his forehand. Beat him very, very cleanly. He had at least 3 feet of the net to shoot in. Gets in behind the Soviets. You never know when they're going to strike. He pulls it way to his forehand. Gee, it looked as if he was holding his midsection. We'll see if we can see from here. He obviously rams into the goalpost with his shoulder. What an excellent, excellent goal. Just a fine move to his forehand. Notice how he sets it up on his backhand and pulls it way over to his forehand. There's very little a goaltender can do when a forward is able to maneuver the puck that long a distance. That covered 6 feet from the time he took it on his backhand, slid it all the way over and brought it to his forehand. He must have covered 6 or 7 feet of ice, and it's so difficult to defend.
It is 3-3 here in Game 1 of Rendezvous 87. Coming to you from the Coliseum in Quebec City. Game 2, 7:30 Eastern, Friday night here on ESPN, and there'll be a penalty. A penalty coming up against the NHL's Esa Tikkanen.
Ken, we had talked before the game about slowing down the Soviets, hooking, holding, anything you can. Well, this time the NHL team didn't get away with it. Esa Tikkanen of the Edmonton Oilers actually trying to impede the progress of one of the Soviets, and he wasn't really very far away from referee Nikolai Morozov, who's called, by the way, a very, very excellent game tonight, I would say, Ken.
Look at that reaction from Esa Tikkanen, 2-minute penalty coming here in the 3rd period. Well, Budweiser keeping this exciting action going at Rendezvous 87. Budweiser wants you to enjoy the game, and certainly now would be an excellent time to enjoy that tremendous flavor of Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Semenov scoring at 8:04 for the Soviet unit. Varnikov gets 1 assist. Taranov gets the other. And it is 3-3. The NHL shorthanded. Kamensky, slap shot wide. At the right point, Starikov. Kamensky again. He's got some skating room. Staranov. At the left point is Stelnov. This is Kamensky, number 13. He's on with Homyatov and Bikov. Staranov. Kamensky. In front, Bikov. Stelnov. Playing it around off the stick of Homyatov. And Wayne Gretzky ends up with a puck. Can't clear it. Bikov. Stelnov. Kamensky. Cross-checked down by Rick Green. NHL playing shorthanded. 3-3 is the score in the 3rd period here in Quebec City. Bikov has a goal. Looking for the give and go. At the point. And a good save by Fuhr on Staranov. Kamensky to Homyatov. In front is Bikov. Curry and Gretzky, Langway and Green killing the penalty in front of Fuhr. Just over 10 minutes to go in the 3rd period. A nice steal by Langway. And he clears the puck the length of the ice, and the NHL All-Stars will change players. The Soviets make some personnel changes of their own. 21 seconds to go in the Soviet power play. Igor Larionov stopped at the NHL blue line. This is Sergei Makarov. Slowed up by Poulin. And Mariona gets the puck. This is Fedosov. He is looking drilled by Sanderson. You saw Fedosov when to go to the knee and runway. And the Vyacheslav Fedosov there. Knee bones wrapped.
One of the big losses, Ken, if they do lose Fedosov, looks as if he's all right. His leadership, he is not only their best offensive defenseman, he is also their depth leader. As we look at Grant Fuhrer, we're going to try and pick where he made the save. He's up high to his blocker side, off the block, perhaps off the handle of the stick. Sharp.
For the Soviets, their power play is over. They have had power plays. They've come up empty, and they've had only 2 shots on goal on their power play. But look out. Krutov! The shot partially blocked by Samuelson. Krutov gets the puck again. He centers just out of the reach of the charging defenseman, Alexei Kasatonov. Here's Vyacheslav Fedosov. Nice pass to Igor Larionov. His feet out of the reach of Makarov, and the puck cleared to center ice. It's 3-3, down to 9:10 to go in regulation play. Claude Lemieux for the NHL. Broken up by Larionov. At center ice, Makarov with Krutov into the NHL defensive zone. Fort yanks down the Soviet player Makarov. Goulet leaving the puck for Wilson. He's bothered by Krutov. Unable to keep the puck in at the point, Pervukin. Larionov turns it back. And Makarov in possession. The Soviets changing on the go. Kasatonov, the veteran. He has 27 points in 34 games against the NHL after a goal here tonight. Sematov, who was injured hitting the goalpost after scoring, back on. He's number 30. Doug Wilson whipping the puck around. Esa Tikkanen on with Mario Lemieux and Claude Lemieux. Soviets shoot the puck back in. Pervukin. Bjor leaves it. Doug Wilson has it. Up the middle. Out of the reach of Tikkanen. No icing. Vasily Pervukin getting the puck quickly to center ice. Semenov gives it off to Svetlov. Langway takes Svetlov out of the play. Now it's Varnikov centering. And Tikkanen intercepts for the NHL. And Tikkanen winding up in his own zone. Head manning to Gretzky. Little flip pass to Yari Curry and a nifty poke check by Tatarinov. The Soviets grab the puck in their own zone. Svetlov just out of the reach of his teammate with a pass. And the NHL's Green gets the puck to center ice, intercepting Priakin. He's number 22, taken out by Curry, and here's Rick Green again. Down to 7:20 to go in the third period. It's 3-3, and there's non-stop action. The NHL All-Stars and the Soviet national team. Tikkanen stopped. This is Gusarov quickly up on the wing. And the NHL taking over in their own zone, Samuelson. Now Ramsey. Samuelson again being pressured. And then the NHL getting stopped before they get to center ice. Yari Curry with Gretzky. Curry, and the save by Beloshakin. Gusarov. His pass is errant. The puck the length of the ice. It'll be icing. Doug Wilson touches the puck, and there's a stop in play. 6:41 to go in the third. It's 3-3. Bill Clement, in the last few minutes here in this third period, you really feel the Soviet Union coming on.
Other than that one breakdown that Kevin Dineen scored on, Ken, the Soviet Union is slowly but surely taking it away from the NHL team. They've closed it down, down, down. The game seems to be shifting as we sit up here from our right to our left, closer and closer to Grant Fuhrer all the time. I really think they're dominating more and more in the neutral zone.
3-3 is the score. The NHL has outshot the Soviet Union to this point, 25-21. 6:41 to go in regulation play. Back for the puck. Doug Wilson. Fuhrer is way out of the goal. So Wilson has to cautiously handle the puck, and he clears it out of his own end. Back for it, Sergei Staranov, 28-year-old Soviet defenseman, hands it to Anderson in front. Messier fakes. Ooh, what a play by Beloshakin. An aggressive play by the young Soviet goaltender. Olmatov getting the puck to Bykov, and Pure makes the save as Anderson had his man taken out. The NHL comes back. Ray Bork trying to make something of a broken play a little bit in the Soviets. Pulls the puck in. Stelnov back for the USSR. Too far with his pass to Homyatov. Langway on defense with Green. Poulin breaks for the goal as Messier shoots the puck in. The NHL changing players. Poulin, almost gets it in front to Anderson as he moved away from Fedosov. Here's Fedosov, the KG veteran, to Makarov. He's spun around. Look at Krutov slide in, but he can't control the puck. Rod Langway will go back for it. There's 5.5 minutes remaining in the third period. Outstanding opening game to Rendezvous-87. Krutov stealing the puck away. On with Larionov and Makarov. Krutov, Kasatonov in front for Makarov. And he really doesn't get good wood on the puck. In front of a sliding Grant Pure. Poulin trying to clear, unable to. Makarov for Krutov, and Green takes that pass. A feed to Howardchuk. He's slowed off by Fedosov. It's Krutov for the USSR. Trying to move in around Ramsey. He's unable to. Dineen, a nice pass to Muller. Dineen, Howardchuk, and Muller. Muller leaving the puck deep in the Soviet zone, and Krutov back for it. He has seen a lot of ice time here in the third period. Vladimir Krutov. 4:38 to go in the third period. It is 3-3. Barnikov sends the puck up the middle as he takes a tough check. Svetlov looking for Semenov. Can't get the puck to him. Now here's Pervukin. And Pure makes a save, and a sterling save on Vasily Pervukin. Back for the puck, the Soviets. That's an icing against the NHL All-Stars. 4:15 to go in game one. In the third period, it's 3-3.
And as the play comes more and more to the NHL end of the ice, Grant Fuhr is being called upon to make more and more saves. He was screened on that one by number 3 of the NHL team, Mike Ramsey, but picked it up at the last minute. Here's a save he made earlier, right at the corner of the net is Sergei Makarov, and he has scored a number from that distance, I can guarantee you, along with Krutov and Larionov. Very, very explosive line for the Soviet Union.
In this period, the NHL All-Stars have been outshot by the Soviets 11-4. It is 3-3. Doug Wilson gains possession, clears to center ice, Pervukin. And the Soviets start out from their own blue line. Bykov and Semenov have scored for the Soviets. Dineen for the NHL in the third period. So the NHL with the 3 goals, Curry, Anderson, and Dineen. The Soviets, Kasatonov, Bykov, and Semenov. And overtime certainly looming as a distinct possibility here at the Coliseum in Quebec City. Bork takes the puck. A crowd in front. Tikkanen and Claude Lemieux. Pervukin playing the puck around the boards. Kept in by Langway. And Tataranov makes no mistake about getting the puck out. And it's an icing call against the Soviets with 3:14 to go in regulation play.
Tataranov icing the puck there, Ken. It's interesting to note that the Soviets are not afraid to go into a prevent type of defense as well, but the score is tied 3-3. I would have expected something a little more creative from Tataranov, but Claude Lemieux was barreling in on him, and as it turned out, Tataranov did pay the price. All 220 pounds of Lemieux leveled him.
Bill, we're late in the third period of game one of this 2-game Rendezvous-87 series. My impression is that the two teams are very equal. They've both been able to prove that they can shut each other down. We've seen some tremendous individual performances, and both extremely well skilled. In other words, it has been superb hockey.
It has, Ken.
Langway for the NHL All-Stars. On with Green, Curry, Tikkanen, and Gretzky. Soviets make it tough for the NHL All-Stars to get out of their own end. Gretzky's pass to Curry, broken up nicely, and the man who did it gets the puck. Now the NHL takes possession. Green over to Ramsey. He'll shoot it in. The Sabres veteran defenseman dumping it in. Gusarov. Homutov. Up the middle for Seaman. Now it's Gretzky, one-on-one. Around Gusarov. Gretzky shoots, hits the side of the net. I'll tell you, you want to see a young defenseman scramble. That's what Alexei Gusarov did, and scrambled in a hurry. The play is offside. NHL All-Stars. There's 2:14 to go in regulation play, and it is 3-3.
You know, Ken, that is one of the first times in this game that the Soviets have allowed Wayne Gretzky to become isolated one-on-one in an offensive situation with one of their players. This time it's Gusarov. Gretzky basically blows around him. Good defensive play by number 14 of the Soviet Union, coming back in to actually take away. Watch Gretzky. You'd think he might be able to cut to his right, but Wayne knows there's someone cutting from his right back in front of the net. Look how quickly the Soviets get back in there to close everything off, and he was really forced to shoot from a sharp angle.
I really like that point you made, Bill Clement, about Wayne Gretzky. In a typical NHL game that we would see here on ESPN, he'd have 6, 7, 8 opportunities by this time where he'd have the puck alone and be able to do things with it.
And he would have been allowed in the NHL, not intentionally, but his skills are so great that he controls the puck. We talked about this before the game. When you control the puck in the Soviet zone, you buy time, break down. They have been wonderful at turning over the puck when the NHL has possession of it in their zone. They make that concerted effort, and we really haven't seen Wayne Gretzky hang on to it long tonight in the Soviet zone.
One of the things we talked about early was the skill of the forwards. 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, and we've not seen that many 3-on-1s, 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s tonight. Ooh, just getting the puck out is Ray Bourque. Claude Lemieux barrels through. Barrels away with Mario Lemieux. Kamensky does a nice job stopping Claude Lemieux. Here's Homutov. The 1:42 to go in regulation play. The Soviets on the attack. He can't get around Doug Wilson. There's a fine play. Then Mario Lemieux stopping Beekon. It's Kamensky for the Soviets. Lead it at the defense. Fetisov in the middle of Makarov. It's 3-3 with 1:20 to go in the third period as Makarov falls down. Mario Lemieux with Dave Poulin. Mario Lemieux. He shoots. He scores, and Poulin may have deflected it. The NHL takes the lead with 1:15 to go in the third period.
Mario Lemieux tonight, for Mario Lemieux, has been reasonably invisible, but he's not invisible here. What a great angle to look at it from. Dave Poulin tipping it by Beloshakin. This is the control I was talking about, Ken. He's able to cut across the blue line, contain, maintain possession of the pucks, then get wood onto the net. The Soviets have not allowed the NHL team to do that at all tonight. Finally, Mario Lemieux gets it in gear. Gets a pretty decent shot away, and Dave Poulin pops it right up over Beloshakin's right arm and into the net for a lead, and we might be able to avoid overtime.
Boy, what a pretty deflection by the Flyers captain. Oh, that's picture perfect.
Mentioned overtime. We will see overtime should this hockey game be tied. It is National Hockey League rules, and there will be a 5-minute overtime period. If it remains tied at the end of 5 minutes, it remains tied.
18:45 of the third period. Poulin scores. NHL leads 4-3. Here's Krutov for the explosive Soviets. To Makarov off his skate. Dineen cleared puck out. Defense is the theme now for the NHL. The guns, the KLM line on for the Soviets. Larionov, Makarov, Krutov. This is Makarov. To Larionov. He fakes. Fetisov in front and unable to turn the puck in. Krutov. And there was the perfect example of the tremendous patient passing of the Soviet national team. Langway dumps the puck out. 35 seconds to go in the third period. Beloshakin still in the goal for the Soviets. They trail 4-3 as Fetisov shoots the puck in. Ray Bourque is back. Down to 26 seconds left. Third period of play in game 1 of Rendezvous 87. Back for the puck goes Alexei Kasatonov. And it's finally shoveled over to Fetisov by Beloshakin. 14 seconds to go. And this crowd in an uproar in Quebec City. There are 8 seconds left. The NHL wins game 1 of Rendezvous 87. Fuhr had quite a night. The Soviets do not pull their goalie. What an opportunity, NHL style that would have been. Beloshakin stands and watches. The NHL wins it 4-3 on a goal at 18:45. They give it to Mario Lemieux, but it certainly looked like a Dave Poulin goal. At any rate, the NHL All-Stars win Game 1. It just sets the stage for Friday night.
Doesn't it, Ken? And to me, the Soviet team was gaining more and more control. We talked about it as the game went on, and you know what it boiled down to? The individual greatness of someone like Mario Lemieux being able to cross the blue line and stave off the Soviet defenders long enough to get a decent shot away that Dave Poulin deflected into the net. Here's Lemieux crossing the blue line, trying to buy time. Fedosov, number 2, as good as he is defensively and offensively, was unable with that long reach that Lemieux has to make any headway in checking him. The goal was a result of Lemieux's individual greatness.
It was the first time we really saw Mario in the game.
Really it was, and he saved it for a good time, didn't he, as far as the NHL team is concerned?
And interestingly enough, just after, Wayne Gretzky had his big opportunity of the night.
Beloshakin hanging from the net. He realizes it's interesting to note, too, that the Soviets never pulled Beloshakin. They had the puck right in behind Grant Fuhr with 40 seconds to go, did not make a move to pull Yevgeny Beloshakin from their net.
It's not their want, usually. They've got the official scoring now down on the winning goal, Dave Poulin from Mario Lemieux and Doug Wilson at 18:45, and certainly a happy international crowd with some NHL partisans here in Quebec City tonight. That was, I thought, a wonderful hockey game. Enjoyment, closely played. Super start to Rendezvous 87. Game 1, the final 4-3 NHL All-Stars over the Soviet national team. Don't go away. There's more to come from Quebec City on ESPN.
He was one of the ones that really
At the Coliseum in Quebec City, the NHL All-Stars player of the game selected here tonight, Mark Messier, receiving a lovely picture from former Montreal star Guy Lafleur. So Mark Messier is selected by the folks here in Quebec City as the NHL All-Stars MVP tonight. The Soviet national team's MVP of this game, Sergei Makarov.
Nice choices, but you have to look to the players such as Dave Poulin and Kevin Dineen for this NHL victory tonight, besides Mark Messier, the lesser lights. It took great individual efforts on Wayne Gretzky's part, on Jari Kurri's first period goal, Mario Lemieux's effort in this final goal, but it was a guy like Dave Poulin, the grinding type of player, along with Kevin Dineen, Ken, that I think really made a big difference in tonight's game.
There's more coming up from Rendezvous 87 in a moment. The Soviets tonight in Game 1 get goals from Kasatonov, Bykov, and Semenov. The NHL goals from Jari Kurri, Glenn Anderson, Kevin Dineen, and Dave Poulin. And the winner from Dave Poulin. And Bill, in looking back now, I thought it was not only a well-played game, but rather evenly played.
I think it was evenly played. The Soviets, to me, started to really bring the play to the NHL All-Stars in the last half of the game. But it was easy for them to do it, Ken. I noticed that the NHL All-Stars defense continued to back in and back off defensively. They didn't play as aggressive defensively. If I were the Soviet team, I would not do much different on Friday night. However, if I was the NHL All-Star team, I would have to seriously consider maintaining that strong defensive blue line posture throughout the 60 minutes. We saw what they could do once they gained possession of the offensive zone. The Makarov and Krutov and Larionov, they can undress you and leave you lying on the ice and pop the puck up into the top of the net so quickly.
And you know, you go back to your checklist from before the game. 3 key points as far as the Soviets were concerned. I most remember they had to shut down Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. They didn't do it at the very end, but overall they did.
Overall they did, but that is what happens when you have players with that greatness. Once in a while, they break open, and when they do, bing, it's in the net.
Well, Grant Fuhr has greatness. I thought especially early in the second period, he was just tremendous in goal for the NHL All-Stars. And with Grant Fuhr, let's go to Tom Mees.
Okay, Ken Wilson, thank you very much. The last time I was with Grant Fuhr was at the All-Star game in Hartford last year. They were giving you a Jeep after that one. I don't know what the I'm going to give you this time, Grant. You had some spectacular saves tonight. Describe the feeling out there on the ice playing this excellent Soviet team.
I think the guys were really keyed up to play tonight. I mean, we went out, and the guys played with their hearts. They went out, they played a great game in front of me tonight.
Now, the Soviet team, they get down, they were down continually. 1-0, they were down 2-0, 2-1, 3-2. They never quit, and